What's going on, guys? CTG Man back. I'm here to talk about the NBA Christmas games from yesterday. What I like to describe it simply as is bookends. The start and the end were electric. The middle part, We started off the day with the Knicks versus the Cavs in MSG. It was a fun game. It was a blowout for a good while. I think to start the fourth, the Cavs actually pushed their lead to as high as like 16 or 17. The Knicks melted that lead quickly. How did it happen? Well, firstly, the Cavs built their lead on the fact that they were doing a good job of keeping Mitchell Robinson, Karl-Anthony Towns off the glass, and on top of the fact that they were hitting their shots. They were shooting like well over 50% in the first half, I believe. The second half, things started to shift, specifically in the fourth quarter. Mitchell Robinson, I believe it was the fourth quarter, put up 10 rebounds in just the fourth quarter. And I believe it was like 7, 8 offensive alone. He was dominating the glass against Jarrett Allen. It was directly against Jarrett Allen. Once Evan Mobley checked in, they took Mitchell Robinson out. But that's kind of what sparked the run. Mitchell Robinson started the run. Jordan Clarkson helped keep them in it. And then the closers of the game, Jalen Brunson hit some big shots. Tyler Kolek hit some of the biggest shots. You watch the game and it's like the known players for the Knicks, I hardly really noticed them. Mikal Bridges, Karl-Anthony Towns specifically. They had a couple of shots here and there. I don't think Cat made a 3 yesterday, but Mikal Bridges had a couple of nice shots. Cat wasn't that great, but overall, Tyler Kolek, Jordan Clarkson, and then Jalen Brunson helped close that game. Tyler Kolek hit big shots. He had a nice big rebound at the end of the game, too, a defensive rebound. Big threes as well. Jalen Brunson hit a mid-range. He hit a big 3 as well, I believe, to take the lead. The Cavs played a really great game in the first half. Their second half, it just kind of melted down. Donovan Mitchell felt like he was the entire offense down the stretch. I like Darius Garland a lot. He might have had his best game of the season yesterday, in my opinion. I think he had a double-double with assists. But overall, down the stretch, it felt like it was literally just Donovan Mitchell, including maybe the best dunk of the day with a cockback. Oh my God, it was absolutely nasty. I didn't expect him to get. He has such freak athleticism. He can get up. It's like 0 to 60 speed, but except it's like on the ground versus off the ground. It's so quick how fast he can get up in the air, and it looked like his head was at the rim, for Christ's sake. And then the 3 he made to make it a 1-point game again was absolutely unreal. How he managed to keep his pivot. I thought it was a travel, but on replay, you could see he kept his pivot, and then he pulled back, and he smacked the 3 from like, 35 feet. It really had everything I wanted out of an opening day Christmas game. You had drama in there because late game, you got Mitchell Robinson at the free throw line. They hacked Mitch. That worked out perfectly. He got a lane violation. They made him take another one, and he missed it again. He went 0 for 3, but it only counts for 2. So it had the perfect amount of drama, in my opinion. I'm usually a big Jarrett Allen defender, but he was actually just getting killed by Mitchell Robinson on the glass. It's kind of embarrassing. I know I keep saying it and stuff like that, but the Cavs seem soft. They're just pretty soft in the middle. Evan Mobley, when he came back in, it kind of changed up a little bit, and he was able to grab some rebounds. But like overall, they don't have the strength and the toughness that I really want out of them. As much as I like Jarrett Allen, I genuinely, starting to really lean into the fact that I don't think he's that guy. Also, the three-point line disparity obviously makes sense in there. The Knicks made over 20 threes and shot them at an over 40% clip. Unreal shooting. You're not going to get that number consistently, but when you do, you should win those games. And it really helped melt the lead. Like I said, Tyler Kolek hit like 3 or 4. Jalen Brunson hit like 4. Jordan Clarkson might add 5 on his own. Guys were hitting their threes for the Knicks. When that's going in, they're a really hard team to stop because they can defend. They get out in transition well. Their transition offense is better than I give them credit for. And if Tyler Kolek continues to play the way he does, you're looking at a future 6th Man of the Year candidate or something of the sort. He's played really good basketball. I took a dig at him a while back, but I wouldn't even call it a dig. I mostly just said he doesn't play a ton, so why would he be a valuable trade chip? He's been playing really well recently, very well recently. He's holding up well defensively. He was playing so well yesterday. There were literally Tyler Kolek chants at the Garden on Christmas. You don't see that very often. You don't often have Tracy Morgan, chanting your name. It's a really cool moment, especially on Christmas for young Tyler Kolek, and especially because they ended up winning the game. And Donovan Mitchell, they spoiled it. His girl was there, and he put on a damn show. He really did. As Donovan Mitchell always does when he faces the Knicks, he hates facing them. You have to give credit where it's due, though. When the Knicks moved Mitchell Robinson out with about 5 minutes left in the game, the Cavs took like another 4 or 5 point lead. I was like, that's a bad choice by Coach Brown. Soon enough, guess what? The Knicks come right back into it, tie the game again. I really thought he made a misstep when they pulled Mitchell Robinson. They put him back in later in the game, but I thought it was going to be a misstep in the down stages of the fourth quarter when they pulled him. It ended up working out just fine. They ended up winning the game. And it all started also because they played really good defense. Every shot for Donovan Mitchell was a tough shot, and that's just usually Donovan Mitchell. But there was one where he loves to do that one hand where he cradles the ball, goes over your head, and then goes into a floater. I believe it was Mikal Bridges who absolutely just stuffed it. Like, not even, he didn't block it or anything, but when he tried to do the Euro with the cradle over the top, Mikal just stayed in front of it, and it forced a tough floater from way beyond range where a floater should be taken. The Knicks played good defense down the stretch. They made 21 threes. They killed the Cavs on the glass in the second half. That's your difference, plus Tyler Kolek. That's your difference there alone. It was a great game, a fun game. I'd suggest you go watch the highlights if you haven't. Cavs fans, do not go watch the highlights. That'll probably hurt your eyes and your head. We could talk about the next games now, though. That was a really good starter to Christmas. It was kind of the appetizer, the main course, and not great. Don't get me wrong. I like watching the Thunder lose. I'm not a Thunder hater, but they're one of those teams where it's like they're so good that when they lose, it's like you got to kind of stand back. And especially when it's to the Spurs for the third time in like a month. That's incredible for the Spurs, first of all. Early, I thought that the Thunder might have had something working. First, second quarter, they led by almost double digits, and it started to feel like, okay, OKC's got their bearings underneath them. They've figured out how to handle these Spurs. They might be able to take the reins of this one and kind of go away with it. No, I'm not saying that it was going to get ugly. An 8-point lead is not insurmountable. But what I was saying was like, okay, maybe they figured something out because the last two meetings between these two teams have been belt to ass. Belt to ass. OKC the other day, 2-3 days ago, wherever it was, ended up pulling their starters with like 3-4 minutes left in the game because they were getting belt to ass in San Antonio. I thought it would be different in Chesapeake. It wasn't. Oh, there was even another beautiful highlight in this one of Keldon Johnson just having a straight up monster dunk. Like, it looked like he was like head at the rim with some power for Keldon Johnson. There was a bunch of highlights from this game. Dylan Harper coming in, and he made a right-handed layup on the. It was nice. It was tough for a player who's left-handed, I believe. It was really nice to see. Stephon Castle hates the Thunder. That is very well known. But when you let Stephon Castle downhill in the paint, I mean, I don't know if there's many guys harder to stop. Like, Amen Thompson's in there, and Giannis is in there, obviously. But like somebody like Stephon Castle's underrated. His deceleration step, the decel from hell. Stephon Castle, like when he slows down, it really is like time stops and he's the only one that's allowed to move. He didn't make a three, which is not uncharacteristic. He's not the greatest shooter, but he made like 4 in their last meeting. So him not making any this game was definitely like, okay, the water's going back down to regular levels. But no, I mean, he was still insanely efficient. I think he shot like 8 of 11. He got downhill at will. And the trio of guards that the Spurs are able to run out is just the difference maker. It really is. They have so many creators. You know, they can pull De'Aaron Fox, who's a former All-NBA guard, All-Star guard, and then immediately go to Stephon Castle, who's morphed into becoming one of the better guards in the NBA as well. And, I mean, he's a tough defender, a gritty defender, and he's athletic as hell. Like, he has vert dunks, stuff like that. I mean, he's incredible, and he's so athletic, so fast. Big too. He has he has good positional size. And then you swap out Stephon Castle, who's another good one, for Dylan Harper, who's young, up and coming, and provides such a good spark off the bench. I don't know what you do. And then on top of that, they have wings on wings on wings. This is one of the better built rosters in basketball. You just have to admit it. Admit and admire it. Because realistically, you look around, Harrison Barnes had a stretch of good play in the second or third quarter. HB had a corner three. Like, Harrison Barnes was hooping. And I love me some H-Bizzle. Harrison Barnes was hooping. Devin Vassell was quiet, but even then, if Devin Vassell is quiet, it doesn't, I mean, you don't need him necessarily. But, like, you get Keldon Johnson in there. He's a difference maker. He had a couple offensive rebounds. He had a big dunk. It's just, they have players. Champagnie played. He's good. Champagnie's a good backup wing. Like, they have so much depth. Wembanyama's coming off the bench for goddamn Luke Cornett. Luke Cornett is a great backup center who is still a quality starting center. For OKC, it's usually the same story when they win, though. Their depth helps them win games and really run away with things. Guys like Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, Alex Caruso, those guys can come in. Kenrich Williams can come in and be real big difference makers. Yesterday, they were the difference. The reason why they lost, to be honest with you. Aaron Wiggins didn't really play great. Alex Caruso was piss poor. like really bad. Lou Dort didn't really show up. You know, Cason Wallace was pretty bad too. He hit 1-3, I believe. But when the Thunder's like backup guards show up, Wiggs and all them guys, they're another tough team to really stop. When they don't show up, their half-court offense looks ugly. It's slow. It's a lot of Shai isolation, which is fine. Shai's a great isolation scorer, but that's their offense when they really don't have it, when they're not forcing the turnovers either. When they're not forcing the opposing team into turning the ball over 15 times per game, which they're really good at, but the Spurs have done a really good job of not turning the ball over. So when they're not forcing these turnovers, they're not getting out on the break. Their half-court offense looks stoppable. Even though SGA is one of the best scorers in the NBA, J-Dub looked terrible. I saw him and Chet were the difference for me for a lot of it. I know the score ended up being a wider margin, but this game was pretty close for a while. And then I remember J-Dub missing 3 free throws, Chet missing 2 free throws, and it felt like the gap just kept getting wider. There was empty possessions for OKC where you go to the free throw line, you get nothing, and the gap just widens because it's a free fast break after you miss the second one. Realistically, how often do you see a team outscoring OKC in fast break points? I believe it was 17-7 in fast break points in favor of San Antonio. It doesn't happen very often. And even when the Spurs were forced into a half court, you're just playing to De'Aaron Fox. That guy is mean, dude. The step back midi from the free throw line he hit on Shai, he had multiple mid-range shots that were just, I mean, you could have told me that was guard Kevin Durant with how beautiful some of those mid-range shots were. It was like he was shooting 100% in the mid-range. He had his usual where he gets a defender to jump on the pump fake, and he does the one dribble, step to the right, knock down. It's so simplistic, and he makes it look good. De'Aaron Fox is a hard guy to guard, but against OKC, I mean, he's looked not human. I mean, you can look at the box score and say, well, it was probably a blowout. They won by like 15. I believe there was 7 lead changes. There was 7 lead changes in this game. It was close for a while, like I said, but free throws felt like they were a difference maker for OKC. Alex Caruso was definitely a difference maker, and Cason Wallace only hit like 1-3. The et ceteras for OKC didn't show up, and they didn't hit their threes at a very high clip. The Spurs shot pretty well from 3. Their et ceteras showed up. Their extra guys. Keldon Johnson, again, I rave about this guy a lot, but in their last matchup, Keldon Johnson was really good. In this matchup, Keldon Johnson was really good. Regardless, it's just they have a bunch of guys who can kill you, and they look young and hungry. And that's a big fear, is a young and hungry team like the San Antonio Spurs. Shai, after the game, said a team doesn't beat you 3 times like they have in the last few weeks, and they're not better than you. And I completely agree. The Spurs have this season, in their matchups, been the much better team. And it's it's because the Spurs are doing a good job of not turning the ball over. That's the biggest way that OKC is going to kill you, is if they can turn you over. If they can get you into 15-plus turnover, 10-plus turnovers even, you're talking about a much different team because they can get out in transition. They're young, they're fast, and they know how to play passing lanes. If you're doing a good job of not turning the ball over, you give yourself a better chance. Then on top of that, you have guys who can defend Shai. Stephon Castle, Keldon Johnson, those guys play good defense on Shai. And when J-Dub's struggling and Chet's not doing anything, those are the two that really irritate me because when they need Chet and J-Dub, they need to come through. That's option 2, option 3. The Spurs option 5 pulled up in Harrison Barnes. The Thunder's option 2, J-Dub, didn't really have a great game. In all, the Spurs just feel like the better team right now. That doesn't mean they are the better team. I've seen teams, the Celtics last year steamrolled the Knicks all season. Steamrolled them every regular season meeting. Playoffs are a different beast. We never know how it's going to go, but it's definitely interesting to see a young, hungry team like the San Antonio Spurs vying in, jockeying, I guess. Joshing? No, I don't know. Jonesing? No, definitely not jonesing. They're vying for position and trying to take down the team that was called a potential dynasty and stuff like that because of their youth and stuff like that, the wins record and all these things that work in OKC's favor. It's nice to see a young team like the Spurs kind of fight back and say, hey, we're not going to let you guys just win. We're going to try, you know what I mean? That's their championship, is beating the Thunder. I'm going to be honest, that's the Spurs championship, is beating the Thunder right now. But that's the life of the defending champion, the reigning champs. You're constantly, there's a target on your back every single game, and you have to learn to adjust to that and realize that every team you play is going to be hungrier than you are because they haven't won and you have. They want what you have. When somebody wants what you have, they'll become hungrier than you a lot of the time. All right, now it's time to talk about the boring game. Mavericks, Warriors. Nobody asked for this. Nobody wanted this. Anthony Davis left early, of course. I mean, it's Christmas. He had to go be with his kids early. I don't know. I don't know. He had an injury, and of course, Anthony Davis. It's Anthony Davis. He's gonna miss time. I don't know how long. I don't know the extent of the injury. He's gonna miss time. He's Anthony Davis. It's a given. That sucks. What was the difference in this game, Matt? You may be asking. How about the fact the Mavericks made 4 fucking threes in 48 minutes? The four. That, or the fact that they only had 2 guys who felt like they could create with the ball, Brandon Williams, Cooper Flagg. That was about it with AD out. Cam Christie threw one of the worst lobs ever. Max Christie threw one of the worst lobs I've ever seen yesterday. I don't know. There was some really low lows in this game for like, why is this even on TV? They should have flexed this one out, to be honest with you. It was gross. The et ceteras for the Warriors showed up in this game. Al Horford had a bunch of threes. Brandon Podziemski had an alright game. Their other guys made plays. Moses Moody had a decent game as well. The et ceteras for the Warriors showed up. They made like 3 times as many threes as the Dallas Mavericks. Again, I'm not saying you can't win losing the 3-point discrepancy battle, but in 2025, the percentage of you winning a game where you lose the 3-point battle is skewed. Like, your odds of winning when you make 4 threes, they didn't even make 5. I mean, I can count on one hand the amount of threes they made in 48 minutes of regulation basketball. That's a problem. Of Cooper Flagg, that's not in his game right now. He's not really a 3-point shooter. He's more of Giannis than Kevin Durant, I guess is what I'll say. Kevin Durant doesn't take many threes either, but you know what I mean. He's more of a paint presence and a pull-up midi guy than the type of guy who's going to make threes. Brandon Williams is a downhill guard who's fast and really fun. He had a great game, but obviously it wasn't like it. You know what I mean? Like, he's not a 3-point guy. Najee Marshall, that's not a 3-point guy. Most of their creators aren't really 3-point shooters. It's kind of an issue right now. And with no Anthony Davis, that's the guy who anchors your defense. You got Daniel Gafford committing some awful fouls yesterday. Some awful fouls. Another difference was the Warriors had 30-some-odd assists and only 11 turnovers. The Mavericks also had 11 turnovers. They only had like 17, 18 assists. That's another thing where it's like you can get penetration. Cooper Flagg penetrates very easily. Pause. He gets downhill into the paint very easily. But if there's no 3-point shooters out there, nobody's fearing that. Klay Thompson got a standing O again, which he deserves. He's a franchise legend. If you're not, like, I think it was, who was it doing the broadcast? Was it PJ Carlesimo? He said if you're not clapping and doing a standing O when Klay Thompson comes into the building, you're not a Warriors fan. And I agree. It was an absolute dredge match. It was hard to watch. I said go watch the highlights of the Knicks-Cavs game earlier. Do that. Save yourself the time on Warriors versus Mavs. This is a game that could have been played on Tuesday on League Pass, and I probably still wouldn't have watched it. It was a really hard watch. It just was. So we can move on to the next one. You like hard-to-watch basketball games because you got to repeat. Lakers versus Rockets. It was a blowout. It was a rout. And simply put, the Lakers could not stay in front of anyone, and they couldn't rebound for anything. The thing with the Rockets is they're not a great 3-point shooting team this season. They're not. Josh Okogie, Amen Thompson, guys like that are who you're kicking out to. They aren't great shooters. They're not reliable shooters. Jabari Smith Jr. is having a great year from 3. But like they're not kicking out too many reliable shooters right now, point being. So what you need to do is kind of force them into taking more 3-point attempts. Tari Eason's a really good 3-point shooter, and he kind of really helps because he can play really good defense and he can knock down his threes, so he helps a lot. But in the past, like over the last week or so, before they got Tari Eason back, Tari Eason only played like 12, 13 games. You were dealing with Josh Okogie, Amen Thompson, guys like that on the perimeter, guys that just aren't great shooters. And what does that do when you're forcing bad 3-point shooters to take threes? Well, it's creating long rebounds, which negates the fact that they have inside position with Steven Adams and Şengün trying to bully their way in. If you can get long offensive rebounds or long rebounds in general, it kind of negates the fact that they have Steven Adams in because he's crowding the basket right underneath. If the ball lands at free throw line, Steven Adams is nowhere near it. You have to force them into taking longer shots. The issue is the Lakers' 3 best players are cones on defense, quite frankly. LeBron is 40. You can't rely on that. Austin Reeves left the game early, of course. Luka Doncic he has never been a great defender, historically. So you need to force the Rockets into taking long shots, but the thing is, this Lakers team's not equipped to do that. It was 48-25 on the glass. 48-25, guys. And here's the funniest part. Here's the best part of it all. I've criticized DeAndre Ayton before on this channel. Very openly, I'm not a big fan of his. But I've given him props this season for doing what he needs to do. Brother, though, we need to sit down and talk. You played 36 minutes, and you grabbed dose rebounds. Two 2 fucking rebounds. You played 36 minutes, guys. I can get you 36 minutes and 2 boards. That's it? I can get a long rebound, for Christ's sake. I feel confident if I played 36 minutes, I could at least snag 1, which is half of what he did. Lakers are so bad defensively that they actually have to force themselves into playing Jared Vanderbilt. Jay Vando is a great defender, just a terrible offensive player. He's usually not reliable with hitting threes. He hit 3 yesterday, I believe, which might be a career high. But they need to play Vando because of the fact that they're so bad defensively on the perimeter. They have to. They need the size. So you're basically giving up offensive possessions because the Rockets don't care if Vando takes that corner 3. That's why he got 4 wide open attempts yesterday. Nobody cares if he's taking them. You're being forced to keeping a net negative offensive player on the floor most nights because you have the 27th worst defense in the NBA and you need somebody who can stay in front of someone on the perimeter. You need a guy who can stay in front of somebody on the perimeter, and that's where Vando comes in. Don't get me wrong, he has his value as a player, but when he's playing this many minutes and he needs to basically cover up all the holes defensively that the Lakers have, it's almost impossible for him. It really is. Because you can't cover the fact that DeAndre Ayton's not getting a fucking rebound. Can't cover the fact that LeBron can't play defense at this point in time. And neither can Luka. It's really a tough spot to be in. The Lakers roster felt like they just kind of no-showed yesterday. They didn't have the athleticism either. Guys like Amen Thompson was just bullying. He was getting downhill. I can't name a single guy on the Lakers roster that can keep up with an Amen Thompson. I can't. Who has the best chance? Jake LaRavia? Marcus Smart can't. He doesn't have the size, and he doesn't have the jumping ability. That's for damn sure anymore. I don't even know if Marcus Smart has the speed to guard Amen Thompson. I don't know many guys that can match the athleticism of Amen Thompson, but geez, man, can you put a body in front of him? Jake LaRavia probably has the best chance because he's like 6'9" and has long arms. That's the best chance you have is Jake LaRavia on him. And even then, he struggled. Put it into perspective for you how bad the rebounding advantage was. Houston had 17 offensive rebounds. The Lakers had 18 defensive rebounds. That's inexcusable lack of effort on the glass. I think Luka was their leading rebounder, and he had a handful. Literally 5. Cinco. They have to play Maxi Kleber, the Lakers do. Why do they have to play Maxi Kleber? Because they need more size. And guess what Maxi Kleber can't do? Anything offensively. He faces the basket, and he looks petrified to take a jump shot. I don't know what happened. Maxi Kleber used to be a good shooter. Maybe the injuries have caught up to him in age and blah, blah, blah. But when they're forced to keep Vando, Kleber, guys like that around because they need positives defensively, it helps the other team because nobody cares if Maxi Kleber's getting an open jumper. Nobody cares if Jared Vanderbilt's getting a wide open jumper. And on top of that, again, like I said, your best players can't stay in front of anybody. It's a bad combination. I just checked the second chance points, 24-10 on second chance points. It's a 14-point advantage. They lose the game by like 23. I don't even know how much they lost by, like 20. Either way, it doesn't really matter. This game was a rout. We can move on to the final game. Like I said, it was bookends to the night. So we're going to finally talk about some good basketball that happened in Denver Ball Arena. You know, I can tell I'm getting older because my head actually hurts today. Why does my head actually hurt today? Because I stayed up watching this entire game. I was up till like 1:30 whenever it ended, closer to 2 a.m. watching this game. And it was worth it. Every minute felt like it was worth it because there was so much drama in this game. First of all, in regulation, you're talking about the Nuggets had a decent lead and blew it, I believe. I just had to check it. In the fourth quarter, Denver had like a 16-point lead. Again, this was a game that I thought was over, and I'm sure some fans left the stands thinking like, well, they're going to close out. And then Anthony Edwards, dog, it just came out of nowhere, his flurry. That corner 3 that he hit to tie the game, everything like that. Santa Claus showed up and played the Grinch instead to the people in Denver. It was an all-time performance from both of the star players here. If you want to go watch stars have a masterclass, because you're gonna watch Anthony Edwards have a great game, Julius Randle had a great game, Jamal Murray had a great game, Nikola Jokic had a great game. 4 all-stars in this game. 4 good games from those all-stars. Unrelated and probably untalked about is how good Rudy Gobert was in this game. Rudy Gobert played really damn well, and I have to give him props where it's due. Rudy was pretty good. I know you're going to say Jokic had a triple-double. How good was Rudy? Rudy dealt with foul trouble, but also when he wasn't in the game, you could feel a little bit of a shift, and especially if Jokic was in the game. Things got a lot worse for Minnesota. When Rudy was out, it felt like. Whenever Rudy wasn't in the game, it felt like it was actually like all Denver, and it even shows, I believe, the plus-minus in a loss, no less. Rudy Gobert was a plus 18 in a loss. He also had 6 blocks, including one on, who was it? Was it Valanciunas, maybe? He cleaned somebody's shot late in that game as well, going for a layup. Rudy had a really good game. Who else had really good games in this one? I think Spencer Jones was all right. I'm not sure if the plus-minus will agree with me, but I think Spencer Jones had an all right game. I'm impressed by him. The ability to play for the Yankees minor league team and the Denver Nuggets at the same time is just incredible. The things David Adelman did in this game were a little bit questionable. Like, to start the fourth, I believe they rolled out a lineup with Valanciunas, no Jamal Murray. So the starting five to start the fourth quarter, I think, was Bruce Brown, Tim Hardaway Jr., maybe Peyton Watson or something like that. Julian Strawther came in the game at a weird moment. And then, like, Valanciunas at the 5. They had no on-ball creators. They were relying on Bruce Brown to be their assist man and to create offense. I saw Bruce Brown get deep into his bag yesterday. Let me tell you, deep in Bruce Brown's bag, I don't know what a shallow bag could be considered. It's a bucket, a pail. I'd say he has like a kid's sand pail that you bring to the beach. That's how deep his bag is. I don't think I could talk about the end of this game without talking more about Anthony Edwards, though. The guy picked up maybe the 2 funniest technical fouls I've seen this year. Maybe the funniest I've seen this year. The first one was a delay of game technical foul because he went up for a dunk, I think it was, or a layup or something, and he comes down basically on the right side of the stanchion by like the stands where the stairs go up, and he's coming back into play. Jokic goes to inbound the ball in front of him, and Anthony Edwards from behind, while still out of bounds, mind you, taps the ball away from Jokic. All-time what are you doing moment. I know that if nobody was paying attention, it might have worked. It might have been a very smart plan. I mean, he would have got away with it if it wasn't for the meddling cameras, referees, players, and everyone else involved that saw him do it. I've never seen that happen before. You just don't see it happen very often in the NBA, where a guy just pokes it free from behind while out of bounds. Like, that's considered an inbound violation. And so that gets him a technical. And then, so they go down, and I believe, I think it was Jokic that believed he got fouled on a shot and was like yelling at the ref. Anthony Edwards goes right back down, takes a shot, and now they're both yelling at the refs. Anthony Edwards gets a technical foul because Lord knows what he said yelling at the ref. I don't know what he was talking about. He untucked his jersey and everything. Mid-court, just untucks his entire jersey, and I'm like, oh, he's about to get ejected. As soon as I saw him untuck his jersey, I was like, oh, he's going. He doesn't care anymore. He wants to go home. But, of course, he was also the same hero in this game. He made the big shot in the corner to tie the game. He made a bunch of big shots in overtime. He got fouled by Jamal Murray on a three-point shot that really gave Minnesota a chance. He was the offense late because they really didn't have many other guys who could create offense. Julius Randle, like I said, was pretty damn good. But when you needed a 3 last night, you shouldn't have given it to Julius Randle. He was off from 3. Dante DiVincenzo was terrible. His passing was pretty good, but he couldn't buy a made shot. I was going to say a made 3, but he really didn't make anything inside the arc either. Overall, it was probably my favorite game of the night. I mean, it went to overtime for Christ's sake. You get one last shot. I think it hit the backboard. Jokic took like a full court heave to end regulation, and it hit the backboard, which if that went in, I don't know what I would have done. But I'm not going to talk about what-if shots. Overtime was really fun. It starts off with a 9-0 Minnesota run. Full disclosure on my part. The Minnesota Timberwolves start off overtime with a 9-0 run. 9-0. The first 9 points of overtime go to the Minnesota Timberwolves. You know what my immediate reaction is? Well, Minnesota ends the fourth quarter with a crazy run where they hit a big 3 and an incredible 3 from the corner. Fadeaway Anthony Edwards shot that kind of is the pinnacle of it, right? They go into overtime. They start on a 9-0 run. I said, oh, Minnesota just took Denver's hearts. This game's about ready to be over. And I went to go brush my teeth and get changed for bedtime. I brushed my teeth, I get back, and all of a sudden I see Jamal Murray dribbling with a tied game, and he smacks a 3 to take the lead. And I rewind, so they go to timeout, and I immediately rewind my TV like, what the fuck happened? How did we get here? It was a 9-0 Minnesota run to start overtime, and now magically Denver has the goddamn lead again. And the answer's simple. Jamal and Jokic. That's it. That's the whole answer. Actually, Tim Hardaway Jr. had a crazy shot in there as well. But, like, Jamal and Jokic, that's all they needed. And the fact that they won this game undermanned by a good margin undermanned. No Gordon, no Johnson, no Brown. Like, that's pretty. They gave Zeke Naji minutes, guys. Zeke fucking Naji got minutes. All right? That's how you know. Julian Strawther got minutes. They're very undermanned. Jokic played like 45 minutes. And he records a 50-point triple-double, the highest scoring game in Christmas history, I believe, or whatever, beating Bernard King's 52. Nikola Jokic now has the most points in an overtime period, passing Steph Curry. Dude, I was so amped, I accidentally pressed end record. That's on me. But at the end of the day, this was a very fun game. This was the most fun game of the night, I'll say. The Knicks-Cavs comeback was definitely a really fun one to watch, don't get me wrong. But you could sort of feel like the tides were changing a little bit. When Minnesota starts the overtime period in a 9-0 run, you don't expect the game to keep going, really. You expect, like, oh, Minnesota's taking the reins of this one. They're ready to go. No. No, Denver wasn't going. Denver was not going. Tim Hardaway Jr. hitting a ridiculous shot from like 25 feet. Like there was countless shot after shot in this game that were just unexplainably good. And it was amazing basketball, peak basketball experience. Go back, watch that one if you guys haven't. Anthony Edwards picks up some goofy technical fouls at the end and gets ejaculated. But yeah, go back, watch it. If you enjoyed this video, you should like, subscribe. Thank you all for joining me. I'll give Christmas Day a smooth 7 out of 10 because the middle was pretty bad. The two ends were really good. The middle was pretty bad. I'm going to go catch the game. Let me know down in the comments your rating out of 10. I'll see you guys in the next one.